In today's video, we're going to talk about the DJI Avata 2 and do you really need to buy it? Welcome back to the channel. Over 10 years of FPV drone videos and DJI tutorials on this channel since the very beginnings of the Flame Wheel, the Phantom series, all the way up through Inspire and the Avata, as well as the FPV drone. We've reviewed them all on the channel here, and today we're here to talk about the DJI Avata 2. Do you really need to buy it? Is it an upgrade that is necessary if you already have an Avata? I have two of them here. One of them is completely modded, with all the brand new motors from Axis Flying FPV company, the C157s that came out last year. We also did some upgraded props. We did a bunch of testing on the Avata last year, and my main concerns before it came out came true, and a lot of the DJI fanboys jumped all over us and said, "Oh man, Justin, you don't know what you're talking about." Actually, I do know what I'm talking about, and I have an educated opinion because I've been flying these things obsessively for the past 10 years. It's kind of like telling a Navy SEAL he doesn't know what he's talking about. So today we're going to talk about this new Avata 2 and what I think about the frame style. Now that I have a really good look at this image, I've watched all the long, drawn-out FCC filing videos that are 30 minutes plus long. I've fallen asleep to those. My girlfriend's asking me, "What are you watching?" That's like the most boring. It was some kind of physics class, and no, it seems like it sometimes. But you guys don't need to know all that. But what you need to know is it a great upgrade? Plain and simple, yes. This new frame design right here is completely different from the original top-heavy, awkward designed Avata. The original Avata, I said from the get-go when I saw it, I said it looks top-heavy, it's going to have tumble issues, and we've flown enough Cinewhoops on this channel to know that that it needs to have a very low CG if you're going to squash all the motors in and put prop guards on something. Prop guards will also create and induce some tumble because of flight controller overload, and when it gets past its threshold, we know what happens. It produces that quick tumble, and that's what happened with the Avata. And there's a couple ways that you can make this happen, is by violent extreme outward pressing forces, you know, like a freestyle maneuver that some of these other drones can handle because they're designed completely different with carbon fiber frames. Doesn't matter whether it's a dead cat or an X frame or it's a Cinewhoop. It all depends on the CG and the power system, the location of the flight controller, and that really dictates a lot of its flying characteristics, as well as whether they're upward facing motors like we have on a lot of the freestyle drones. That's mainly what we have for, pretty much primarily what we have for freestyle maneuvers and extreme aerobatics. Now, downward facing motors, talked about this before on the channel. The Avata 1 has downward facing motors. The new Avata 2 has upward facing motors, and that is going to make it freestyle eons better than the original Avata. This one was designed to go pretty much, you know, in some straight, slow, wavy lines. The moment you start flipping this thing and rolling it, that's when it got into trouble, and we did experiment with more powerful motors, some great props from HQ, all kinds of different cool props came out. Master Air Screw released some, and a lot of guys really modded their original Avata to the hills. But you don't need to do that with the Avata 2 right away. But it does look like they have around a 1404 size motor on here, and they also, looks like they extended and lowered the CG on this brand new design, and that's going to make it probably not have as much instances of tumble. But one of the things you guys really need to know about DJI is, like, look, I know this company so well. This company produces great FPV and camera systems, all the way back from the original light bridge systems that we were using on large multi-rotors and octocopters for Hollywood filming. That's what I would always recommend, and that's what we would build our clients back when we had a brick and mortar store. And then when DJI sort of started looking at the FPV community, I had already flown a bunch of these drones, and even though DJI makes great camera systems and VTX and video transmission systems that pretty much rival any other HD system out there, they don't make great FPV Drones, okay? This is what a lot of you guys that are brand new to this game need to know. Gep RC and iFlight, they're flying circles around DJI when it comes to FPV drones. Case in point, the what we call the Potato, the original FPV drone that came out. It was sort of like the beginner's FPV drone for, say, 5-inch style flying. This flew nothing like a 5-inch FPV freestyle drone. The Nazgul Evoke series was one of our favorite FPV freestyle drones from last year. So yeah, they make great camera systems, but they don't make great FPV drones. So with this one, it looks like the guy, the single guy at DJI decided, like, I'm gonna make this one better. And I can see this guy sitting there. He's the one guy at DJI who's like, man, I love FPV. I love this community. I want to make a sick FPV drone. And he's at the drawing board and he's like, oh, 2306, 5-inch. And he's told from upstairs, no. Jim fan, no. Unibody carbon, no. Because DJI hasn't done any kind of carbon frames since the flame wheel. It seems like they're always these like injection molded plastic frames with no carbon fiber, and I really would love to see something carbon fiber come out from DJI, but I know we'll never see it because that's not really what the Best Buy customer is looking for, right? Am I right? They want to see this like homogenized product looking thing sitting on the shelf that looks neat to a consumer. And that's what a lot of these drones are designed for. They're designed to look cool, but looks will only take you so far in aviation. So the new one does have, again, a cool look to it, but we're also seeing this upward facing motor setup here is going to really help things out a lot. Lower CG, and it looks like we're also going to have, again, like 2mm bolts on, probably 2 bolts on each propeller. And I'm kind of wondering, I don't know, I didn't see the specs, I didn't read all the way into the FCC stuff, but I'm wondering if this is going to end up being a little bit larger size, because a little bit larger will also help it fly a little bit better in the more windier conditions. Maybe around a 4-inch would be pretty sweet, and that will add to the stability of the flight controller, maybe a little less tumble. But the question remains, do you really need to buy an Avata 2? If you are a real estate person, I'd say no. If you're still looking at some type of indoor drone, you don't want to buy something like the Gep RC Cinebot 25, which is our recommendation right now in 2024. People are asking me, do I still want to buy the Defender 25 or the Defender in general? And I'm steering people more towards the Cinebot series, the 25 series, not the 30 series. The 30 is a little bit large. Now, as far as this one goes, you can still fly an Avata 1 inside and make gorgeous real estate videos. And if you want to get the Avata 2, the Avata 2 is going to be more for outdoor, fast, freestyle, mild freestyle maneuvers, and say something like drift car racing if you want to chase motocross, snowboarding, mountain biking. This quad right here will probably outfly the Avata 1 10-to-1 almost. I'm guessing that this one will be much better for freestyle and high-speed maneuvers. So that's what I'm really hoping for with the Avata 2. But again, will it outfly something like, say, Gep RC's Cinelog 35 on 6S? I don't think so. And we're going to buy an Avata 2, and we're going to put it up against some of the Cinewhoops that we have here by all of these companies that are in the FPV community. So we can A and B them to a real-world Cinewhoop versus something like an off-the-shelf DJI quad. Now, someone made a post recently on the community post that we made about the DJI Avata 2 leaks. Some new images came out, and we're talking about those there. And one of the folks said that he's really excited about the new Goggles 3 coming out. And I have to say, I'm excited about that too. This original Goggles 2 were my favorite over the Integras. They don't have that big battery pack on the back of the head. I'm not a fan of having to wear a battery on the back of my head. I'd rather put a battery in my pocket, honestly. It just feels more comfortable when you're wearing it for long periods of time, and it's less awkward to handle. And plus, I can take those little batteries and I can put them off to the side and charge them without having to have my goggles right there, all in one package. Now, this pair of goggles has 4 antennas antennas on here. 2 of the antennas will transmit and receive, and 2 only will receive. So the new pair of goggles with goggles 3, all 4 antennas can transmit and receive. So that's also a nice thing. And 80 hertz on the FPV system as well. We're going to see some super high bandwidth on these new FPV system. On OcuSync 4 is going to be incredible, and I'm wondering like how much better the resolution is going to look on that VTX and camera system. I know it's going to be great, and it's probably going to be worth the upgrade, the DJI 4. But again, you should wait before you buy it. Let all of us buy it, fly it, and tell you what is wrong with it first, and then just like what happened with this one, weeks later they're going to come out with maybe months later, they're going to come out with a firmware update that fixes whatever problem this one may have. I don't know how many times I repeated myself about this, and some people are going to be crying the blues because they crashed down the side of a mountain somewhere. So again, if you want to fly more windy and mountainside conditions, you will be better off with an Avata 2, in my opinion. Windy, mild freestyle, harder maneuvers, faster, a little bit longer flight time at 20 minutes, and yeah, a little better, much better flying Cinewoop with the upward facing motors, a lot more freestyle capable. But again, if that's what you need it for, speed, a little longer flight time, flying a little bit better in windier environments, then the Avata 2 is for you. If you're just going to fly slow and fly around the yard and fly close in proximity, or you're going to do some really professional shots where you need to fly slow and straight and true indoors, real estate guys, stick with the Avata 1, in my opinion. I don't think you're going to need an Avata 2. And that's my opinion on that so far, guys. And I will bring you much more information on the new DJI Avata 2. We will talk about it, we will get into it, we will fly it, and we will crash it. And we will see what's up with the new firmware. So stay tuned, sit back and wait. Don't press the buy button just yet. Let's see what happens with the Avata 2 in the flight test. So stay patient and keep that credit card in your wallet for now. But until we talk again, I'm Justin Davis, guys. Take care, and I will see you on the next one.